So just how did this deadly siege begin? On the Record investigates.
This is coming in from Sydney, Australia. A gunman has reportedly taken at least 20 people hostage near the center of the city. Sky News reports that there are hostages standing with their hands up in every window and that there's a black flag with Arabic writing.
The U.S. consulate reportedly has been evacuated, the consulate that's in Sydney, Australia.
We're going to begin with this, a Fox News alert. A suspected terrorist armed with a gun holding more than a dozen hostages inside a cafe in Sydney, Australia.
The standoff going on for more than 10 hours.
The man's name is Man Haron Monis. He is a 49-year-old born in Iran and then moved to Australia. He is a self-described sheikh. He is a self-proclaimed Muslim.
Good morning. This is quite the ordeal. Terrified hostages forced to stand with their hands up against that store window. You have seen these images. The lone gunman claiming to have several bombs in different parts of the city.
The sense that we are getting from looking at the video is that it is over.
In the middle of the mayhem, several hostages seen with their arms in the air pressed against the glass. Two hostages are suddenly seen holding a black flag connected to Islamic extremism. So is the man behind the Sydney siege a lone wolf terrorist? Could there be a deeper terror connection, or is this something else? And how can we even know? Terrorism expert Waleed Faraz joins us. Nice to see you, Waleed. And, you know, it's hard to tell, at least right now, whether this is just a crazy killer fixated with an idea to use jihad or whether this is a jihad terrorist part of a group. I mean, there seems to be they're both equally evil, but there's a difference to me.
Absolutely. Greta, after I've analyzed the phenomenon, what he has done, what he's tried to do, is not something unusual. Other jihadists have done it in the Middle East, tried to do it here. Taking hostages, making a claim, showing a flag, that's normal jihadism.
And also non-jihads have done that.
And non-jihads have done that. Everything has been seen before. What is unique to me, and I've seen many, many cases in 25 years, is the fact that he has been mutating. He was an Iranian Shia. He came to Australia, applied for political asylum, so he's against the Iranian regime. Then started to be anti-Western, anti-Australian, anti-American, and then he shifted to Salafi jihadi from the Sunni side. So he has been changing camps, but the one ideology was always anti-Western.
You know, I wonder, like, I'm sure Australia tonight regrets giving him asylum. You know, it's like, it's such a tough issue when people come from these oppressive regimes and want asylum and say they're going to be persecuted. You know, what are we to do? But now look tonight at the generosity of Australia in welcoming him, and now he has, murdered.
I have served as an expert in political asylum cases in the state for 25 years. And often I spoke with judges, and they were disoriented. I mean, people were coming from Egypt saying, oh, we need political asylum, and they ended up jihadists, either Muslim Brotherhood or Jama'ah. The question is not, who are you afraid of? What do you want to do here? That's the second part that we have not been very successful in asking. What is your ideology?
What's your impression of this man? I mean, is this, is this someone who's just crazed, or is this man part of a jihad group? I mean, how do you identify, or how do you describe him?
Look, he cannot be linked to the Iranian regime just because he came from
Iran.
Iran.
ISIS? He wanted a flag.
He cannot be linked to ISIS fully because ISIS did not endorse him, and he acted in a very peculiar way. He was too public of a person. I mean, we've seen him with politicians. He was like a lobbyist for the jihadists.
He's also got a criminal record. He's got a lengthy criminal record, including something to do with an accessory to the murder of his ex-wife or something.
He is a jihadist who wanted to finish with a message, with a big message, and he thought that this would be his opportunity, and he failed. He is a lone wolf, but with a lot of connections. You
know, the thing that's distressing is, like, it's hard for us to decide how much to report. You don't want to make him some sort of spectacle so that someone's going to want to copy it. On the other hand, this is news. You want people to be alert to people coming into any place who might be wanting to commit murder. But so it's hard for us to decide how to report this. It's judgment, but it's a tough call.
It's not just us. It's the jihadists who are watching him. They saw that he was successful. He drew attention. All of the continent of Australia was focusing on what he was doing in this chocolate shop. 3 people were killed. And this is one case. I'm concerned about the copycats, not just in Australia.
Why Australia?
Because he can?
No,
Because
but I
he
mean, a
was
lot
there.
of people, there seem to be problems now in Australia. We're hearing more about people giving trouble in Australia.
There is a large contingency of jihadists in Australia. It's not new. There are even a couple generations of jihadists who have been fighting against the Australians, and there were attempts a few months ago against
the threats to people on public streets in Australia. Anyway, Waleed, thank you.
Thank you.
And